What is up, everyone? Darkside Phil here, and welcome to Ask the King, the show where once a month I take some time out to sit down, read through your personal questions about anything, and respond to the ones that I feel I have some entertaining answers. This month's edition, March 2013, is going to be a little bit on the shorter side. Usually this is a two-part series, probably just going to be one part this month, for two reasons. Number one, my throat. I'm actually feeling a tiny bit under the weather. Because of the change of seasons. This happens every year, but this week, all of a sudden, the past couple days, it's gotten warmer, and it actually has caused my throat to get a little bit sore. So I actually just had a lozenge before I started recording. So bear with me if I sound a little off or if I have to clear my throat a bit during this video, okay? But number two, quite honestly, this past month has been a whirlwind of activity for me. Adopting direct capture and also adopting live streaming. Which honestly was kind of a just spur-of-the-moment thing that I said, I'm just going to fucking do it. And I went out there and I got the equipment and I did it. And I've been very, very busy this month, you know, adjusting to that. And because of that, I really haven't mentioned Ask the King much at all this month. And this month, unfortunately, I got less questions than usual. I only got about half as many questions as I usually get, probably because I never brought it up after last month's Ask the King, so a lot of people just forgot about it. So I didn't have as many questions to choose from. I do still think I have narrowed it down to some really good questions, though. So that being said, being that I'm trying to make this only one video, I've got 2 pages of questions we're going to go through rather than my usual 3, so let's get started. Alright, the first question. Phil, what was your favorite TV show to watch when you were growing up? And that's from, of all names, Boner Salad. That's an interesting question because the only way I can answer it is based off of certain periods of my life. I remember when I was a younger kid, I used to watch cartoons such as G.I. Joe, Transformers, the Ghostbusters cartoon on TV. And then at night I would actually watch shows on HBO like Fraggle Rock. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but that live-action puppetry shows and stuff like that. As I got a little bit older, a little bit more mature, I moved on to other things like the Ninja Turtles were huge, and I absolutely loved the Ninja Turtles. And then I remember that there used to be the Disney block in the afternoon where it used to be like DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, those kind of shows. And then, of course, as I grew up and matured even more, I said, alright, let's get rid of the kiddie stuff. I started watching more mature cartoons such as like the Batman animated series and stuff like that. And then it kind of fell into a time when I really didn't watch a lot at all. I used to watch like the TGIF comedy blocks on Friday nights. Used to have like Full House, Family Matters, that kind of stuff. Step by Step, I remember that show. And then also later on Seinfeld, in the 90s. Seinfeld was like the hugest thing. And I didn't watch the first couple seasons. I had never heard of it. But then when it got big and everyone was talking about it, I started watching it and I loved that show. So really those are the shows that I watched growing up. And it all depends again how old I was. There was really different things that came in and out of style and phases and such that I watched growing up. But just thinking about some of those shows now is like massive reminiscing because, you know, those shows aren't around anymore. And to think that, wow, there was an era when there were the sitcom was prominent, when Saturday morning cartoons or afternoon cartoons when you got home from school were prominent, and that stuff has completely fizzled out and really doesn't exist anymore. Like you watch the sitcoms that are on today, they're awful compared to the ones you used to watch. They used to be cheesy, but overly cheesy to be funny. Now they just like, they struggle to try to even get a giggle out of anyone. They're so stupid. And there's no cartoons anymore at all. Where did they go? You know what I mean? You used to have these entire giant Saturday morning cartoon blocks, and then you would have Friday afternoon staples of shows you would watch, and now they're all completely gone. So it's a bygone era. Alright, next question. Excuse me. Dear Phil, what is your opinion on reviewers who are primarily negative in their reviews sheerly for the sake of comedy? Reviewers such as Zero Punctuation, Mike Matei, and to some extent Angry Joe and James Roth. I feel that these types of reviews are partially responsible for the overall descent in credibility when it comes to internet reviewers as a whole, and not just the inflated scores of IGN and Metacritic, etc. As far as I'm concerned, it can go both ways in terms of credibility. Descent, excuse me. If you inflate your scores for compensation, then it's underhanded. But if you give us every single score a scathing review, or every single game a scathing review, sheerly to make your audience laugh, it's also unfair. That's from The Lemon. I completely see what he's saying. There are people out there who their internet presence really isn't a serious review source. It's their gimmick, their thing that they do is like, for example, Angry Joe. Everything he does, he gets angry about, okay? So in every review, he nitpicks and finds things to get pissed off about, but that's kind of his character. I mean, let's face it, if you're watching a video from a guy named Angry Joe, there's probably something in there that you should pay attention to, the name. If you're watching someone who's admittedly angry, then you shouldn't weigh that review as much as a serious reviewer who's maybe trying to be more serious. James Ralph, I completely disagree with in this regard, because James Ralph reviews older games, so it's not even pertinent. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, he made fun of fucking Mayan Secret Castle, whatever the fuck the name of that game was. Who cares if he didn't like it? The game's ancient. No one's going to really be playing it in this day and age anyway. Now, if he were reviewing new games and being an asshole about it and not being fair, that would be a different story, okay? But again, his videos are primarily for entertainment purposes only. There's a difference here. Now, when you get someone who claims that they are a reputable review source, but they're just being assholes about it, that's different. So I really don't feel that people like Angry Joe, James Ralph, you know, are really to blame for any kind of an internet movement, if that's what you're saying. I do think that, unfortunately, there has been just a big pocket of shit when it comes to the mainstream reviewers and the way that they review games, and that they don't feel there's any responsibility whatsoever to prove what they say in their reviews. I've seen these reviews where people completely kiss the ass of a game, and then when you play the game, you're like, this game was not nearly as good for factual reasons. The game was short, the gameplay was repetitive, there were game bugs, none of that was mentioned in the review. How the fuck can this asshole give it like a 9? The flip side of that is when these reviewers think that they can defend their bad review just by saying, it's my opinion, and every review is an opinion, so I'm entitled to it. If you are supposed to be a reputable person in the gaming world, and you're going to give an honest review of a game, it can't be only opinion. There have to be facts weighed in your fucking review. So for you to give a review that has 10 great positive things, 2 negative things, and then you give the game a 4 out of 10, you're an asshole. Okay? And you shouldn't be treated as a reputable review source. There are a few people out there who really just, based off of their fucking mood the day that they played the game and reviewed the game, they can either overinflate or deflate their scores, and that's not right. So do I think there is a movement of people trying to be overly negative just to get attention and for entertainment purposes? Yes, but that's not the reputable gaming media that you should be trusting for your reviews. Angry Joe, you know his reference, so you know when you watch his review, it's probably going to have a lot of negativity in it. If you don't like that and you're looking for someone who's more fair and balanced, don't watch Angry Joe reviews. Or just don't take them as Bible truth. Take it with a grain of salt. Keep in mind, I'm completely speaking from just what I know of and heard of Angry Joe. I've never watched one of his reviews ever. And I know a lot of people might say, what? Phil's never watched Angry Joe? No. I've said this for years. Ever since I got started on YouTube, I'm extremely busy. I don't have time to watch videos. I haven't watched an Angry Video Game Nerd video since 2008. I haven't watched Angry Joe ever. Okay, next question. Hey Phil, what's your opinion on the announcement of the 4th Assassin's Creed game that's being called Black Flag? Do you think it's too much and the series is dragging out, or what? I'd love to get some input on it, and that's from Shadow Gamer. I actually did get several people who asked me about this, saying, do you think the series now is going to change? Because how can you have the classic parkour and sneaking and such if you're on a pirate ship the whole time? So when I heard this announcement, I was very confused, and here's why. If they knew they were making the 4th installment of this game about pirates and sailing, why did they put sailing and boats in Assassin's Creed 3? That game was about a Native American. They didn't have to put that in there. They could have left that out and had that for Part 4, and they could have said, wow, this is the selling point of Part 4. Why they kind of jumped the gun and put sailing missions in Part 3 now completely baffles me, okay? But the fact that they're rushing into Assassin's Creed 4 1 year after Assassin's Creed 3 makes me wonder if all the things that I said about Assassin's Creed 3 were correct regarding the Connor character. If you remember, if you watched my review, I said I thought the Connor character was boring, I thought that his character was immature, didn't make sense, and that it was actually he was kind of annoying and not a likable character. Well, I think most people kind of agreed with me, because why else would they say, oh fuck, get rid of him and rush into the next game? Take a look at Assassin's Creed 2, where they had 3 installments for Ezio, because everyone liked that character. So it's kind of interesting to see that they are rushing into Assassin's Creed 4 the way that they are. Do I necessarily think that they should be doing it only a year after 3? Actually, no. I think it's too soon. I think the game is going to suffer. You're going to see dips in sales. Reviewers are going to be more harsh and critical with the game now, simply because it's only a year after the last installment, and now it does kind of seem like they're rushing through the series. So, in my opinion, it is a little bit too soon. I don't see how the parkour is going to hold up, and I do think that the series is going to actually kind of change a little bit with Part 4. I'm not going to give any kind of an opinion because I haven't played it. I'm not going to be unfair, but it is kind of weird that all of a sudden we're going from 3 to 4 within a year. Okay, next question. Hey Phil, as you know, you have a huge international fan base, many of which I'm sure you'd love to meet you in person. What would be the best way for an international fan to come and meet you, and where could they do it? Obviously, I don't mean we turn up at your condo, but like, for example, how would I get a ticket to a gaming convention if I live in the UK or Europe? Thanks. And that's from James Holt 92. Well, interesting question, and I will openly admit that outside of, you know, the 2 conventions that I attended last year, which were Too Many Games and MagFest, I've kind of been not findable, you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't just meet me or hang out with me or anything because I haven't been to any events. We didn't go to New York Comic Con last year. Unfortunately, PAX East turned down my request for a panel, and that just happened anyway. It's passed, but they denied me, even though I submitted it the fucking day that the submissions opened. I submitted my request and got denied, which is bullshit. With some of the stuff that I see that they have there, considering the fact that they would deny me, I think there's someone who actually works for PAX East who doesn't like me or something, and that's why I'm getting denied, if you want my honest opinion. But outside of that, yeah, we haven't attended anything. There's been nothing really going on. But I've already talked about this, but now's the time to bring it up because I've got some exciting new news for everyone. We are going to be attending the Screw Attack Gaming Convention come June. So check it out. The website's sgconvention.com. I'm on the guest list. They made a Facebook announcement. And there's going to be some interesting stuff going on. First of all, we're going to have 2 vendor tables, okay? And at one vendor table is kind of going to be me and Panda Lee and John Rambo, and we're going to be there to meet and greet the fans and everyone and the autograph stuff, and we're going to be advertising our content, obviously. The other table is going to actually be OJ and his girlfriend, who I believe the name of the company is Athena's Wink. They make hats and anime-related and gaming-related stuff. They're going to have their stuff there. So it's going to be me and Leanna and John, and then also OJ and his girlfriend. We're all going to be there together, okay, at the vendor table. So it's going to be extremely approachable. In addition to that, we're going to have a panel. And the panel is going to probably be interesting because we're going to be discussing some different topics than usual. Like the panels we held last year was more about me making my gaming hobby and turning it into a full-time career. This year, it'll probably be about that. You know, I'll be honest, you know, there's going to be people there who don't know who I am and are going to want to learn about it. But it may be more about our upcoming projects. It may be more about me direct capturing and live streaming and ideas for that kind of stuff. It's definitely going to be a lot about OJ and John talking about Schnozman and Hole Punch. And we're probably going to have another open Q&A session like always, where I'm sure there's going to be a lot of great questions. We always get a lot of great questions. So that's going to be at SGC Convention. In addition to that, I'm currently in the works of planning kind of a mini event where at our vendor setup, we could possibly have maybe a console set up, and anyone who wants to challenge us in fighting games, so like Third Strike, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, which is a piece of shit, but it is obviously the game that I'm the best at. I would say Hyper Fighting, because that was the game originally that I wanted to challenge people in at SGC, but unfortunately I found out that their cabinet, I guess, broke, so they don't have that anymore. And I would say I would do that on Xbox, except that that's a horrible version of the game. Like, it lags. So I'm not sure, but we could still do it on Xbox. I'm not sure how well that would happen, though. And any other, you know, Darkstalkers I have a lot of fighting games I can play. Street Fighter 4, obviously. So that could be an exciting event where fans, if they want to come mess around and challenge me in a fighting game, you can. And then in addition to that, there's actually going to be the Iron Man of Gaming event. It's a tournament where you play 6 games spanning from Street Fighter to Tetris to Mario Kart. It's just the gamut of games, and you're basically trying to see who is the overall best gamer, and I'm entering that. Now, I don't know if I'm going to do well. I've played probably 4 out of the 6 total games that they're going to be doing there, so I might have some experience on everyone else, but I'm sure there's going to be people who are going to be like practicing hardcore, which I'm not going to have time to do, obviously, being that I work a lot. You know what I mean? So that's another cool event where you can interact with me. So SGC Convention is your chance this year to come meet us, get something signed, you know, hang out with us. If you're international, you could still attend. It's all everything's online these days. It's not like you have to be there to buy stuff in person. Go online, go to the website, you can register, And if you register, you buy your tickets online, and you can get a hotel, and just, you know, you can come attend like any other con goer. There's nothing that there's an international restriction. In fact, I'm pretty sure there are going to be people from international countries coming to the convention. So I'm really excited. I'm going to be mentioning it a lot more now because I actually just talked to Stuttering Craig a day or two ago, and I hashed out our ideas and everything, and we're all set. We're 100% going, and I'm actually about to book the hotel rooms probably this week too, so we're very excited about that, and that is coming up, so definitely attend that if you can. Okay, next question. Phil, it was just reported that the Xbox 360 version of Grand Theft Auto 5 will require 10 discs. Will you be getting the PlayStation 3 version now? And that's from Baseball Boy 2036. All I have to say is this. If you actually believe that they would sell a game that's 10 discs, you're completely bat-flipping insane. It's obviously a fucking bullshit rumor trying to make people think that the Xbox is, yo, the Xbox sucks, you have to have multiple discs. Will it possibly have 3 or 4 discs? I could see that, but there's no way it's going to have 10. That's retarded. Okay. Hey there, Phil. You've mentioned various times during your videos that you can't drive on the highway. What's so different about driving on the highway that makes you unable to do so? And that's from Haseo. Good question. 2 things. Number 1, when you drive on the highway, usually it's for an extended period of time. The longest period of time really that I drive right now is maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. And then I really, you know, start to feel uncomfortable and I need to get up and walk around. So, you know, you're driving, let's say for example, going to Philadelphia. That takes maybe 3.5 hours. Me driving that long doesn't work. After, you know, a half hour I would have to stop and rest, okay? But number 2, the major reason why it's different is because you're driving at high speeds on the highway, and it's very dangerous with my condition. Right now with my back injury, at any time I might get a leg spasm, a shooting pain in my back and leg. It may force me to all of a sudden push a pedal that I shouldn't. What if all of a sudden I slam on the brakes going 65 miles per hour and someone rear ends me? What if, you know, something happens and I end up swerving off the highway? It's just too much of a risk to drive on the highway with my back condition, okay? I understand I could do it, I could take the risk, but the risk of possibly dying and or injuring others is not worth me driving on the highway, okay? I'm trying to be respectful to myself and also to others to know that I would be a hazard if I were to try to drive on the highway with my back condition. Off the highway, you know, the fastest I'm driving is, what, 30 miles per hour? And yes, it's still dangerous, but it's a lot easier, 30 miles per hour. Oh, I got a leg cramp. Well, I can slow down, pull over, and you're safe. You can't always do that on the highway. So that's why it's different driving on the highway. It's too risky, too dangerous, and I'm trying to be respectful to everyone else around me and not put their lives at risk as well. Next question. Hey, Phil. What events are you and John... let me say that again. What events are you and John planning to attend during Wrestlemania 29 weekend? If you're not aware of all the events that are being held, here's the link, blah, 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 and that's from Dare You. Well, here's the thing. I've already talked about it, but I might as well bring it up again. John Rambo and I are attending WrestleMania 29 in just a little bit over a week right now. And we're doing 4 major things that weekend that we'll be vlogging about all weekend. We're going to attend a Ring of Honor house show on Saturday during the day. We're going to be attending the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Saturday night. We're going to be attending WWE Fan Access during the afternoon on Sunday, and then we're actually attending the WrestleMania 29 event on Sunday night. So we're going to have a full 2 days full of wrestling. There will be no gameplay during that time because I won't be home to upload it. But we're going to be vlogging, and I'm probably going to try to upload some of those vlogs from our hotel room on Saturday and Sunday nights. If we can, I have absolutely no idea if we're going to be able to, but we'll see what happens. If not, worst case scenario, you're going to have a lot of wrestling vlogs coming up over the next couple weeks. Next question. Phil, what are your views on females in video games? Do you feel that they are treated unfairly and unequal compared to men? The reason I ask is because a YouTuber by the name of Feminist Frequency made a 30-minute video talking about how women in games nowadays and in the past have always been treated unequal, and she believes that Nintendo do not treat their female game characters fairly. For example, Princess Peach and Zelda. Her video has actually gotten over 1 million views. Do you think there's some shade of truth in what she is saying, or do you think it's as ridiculous as everyone thinks it is? And that's from Kanade Tenshi 13. Well, listen, even I didn't see the video, so I don't really know exactly what she said. But of course, there's a grain of truth in every statement, you know, and this one is no exception. The bottom line is, you know, women in video games have been treated really differently over the years. I mean, initially, with the initial batch of video games, it was always like the woman is the one who, oh, save me, I've been kidnapped, and it was always the strong male character who had to go through adversity and fight the enemies and save the princess, so to speak. And that's a perfect example. There's Princess Peach, who in every fucking game always seems to get kidnapped by Bowser. But there have been some changes. There have been some very strong females in gaming over, several years. Zelda, even though she's been the damsel to rescue, she actually has, in some games, become kind of a semi-hero and a character who's a strong, contender as the protagonist. You've had your Lara Croft, who, again, another strong series where she's the protagonist, although it's kind of funny because look, when she first started, she had giant heaving tits that were unrealistic, and that was really why people played the damn games. So there you go. Strong female, but we have to make her insanely a sex pot so that people will buy the game. In recent years, characters like Chell from Portal, and a lot of other strong female characters as well have really become more mainstream and more well-respected, especially now that gaming has become more adult-oriented, okay? So, like everything in its infancy, gaming at first started out with all the same kind of prejudices that everything started with, and now it is starting to change. I mean, take a look, the reboot of Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, extremely strong character, compelling, and she doesn't have insanely large tits anymore. They made her a realistic woman. That's a good move in the right direction. But, that being said, in specific referencing Nintendo, I don't know if anyone knows this, or how much people really, understand things, but Nintendo is a Japanese company, okay? I don't know if you know this, but Japanese culture is actually innately sexist, okay? There are entire parts of their culture that are about treating women harshly, abusing women. There's an entire porno industry there based off of the rape of women. And I'm not kidding. I'm not, trying to be a dick here and be racist against the Japanese. This exists, okay? And so, to have, a gaming culture where a gaming company that's based out of Japan be oppressive to women, I'm not surprised. Now, things, like I said, we're moving into the modern era and things are finally changing for the good. Now that things are becoming more adult-oriented and gaming as an industry is just as much for adults as it is for kids. But at the same time, I do think that these stigmas do exist, and we need to keep moving in the right direction. So, when it comes to Nintendo, I do actually think that in the beginning, yeah, that probably did exist. There was some racism, or not racism, sexism there. Hopefully now in the future this will change, but when you continuously just keep rebooting series like Mario, where the whole story is the weak and helpless woman got kidnapped and the strong male has to save her, I don't know if we can really get too far. E3. A lot of people have asked me about E3 this year. What's the status? Will I be attending? Have I heard anything from Machinima? The answer there is I don't know. I haven't heard from Machinima yet. They told me literally don't even bother asking until the second quarter because that's when they start talking about that kind of stuff. So sometime next month, hopefully I'll talk to them about it. I'll get a little bit more information. If you remember last year, I didn't even know anything until the end of May, early June about going to E3. It was a last minute thing that just came up. It might literally be that again this year. But the way I look at it, if it is, or if I don't go, The Last of Us supposedly is coming out that week anyway, so it's not a total loss. Okay, and now Facebook and Twitter questions. We'll round out the video with these. Alright, Daniel asks me, how come you never show us your backyard when you do your condo tours? You have a good amount of yard to use. Bottom line, Daniel, that's not true. The backyard is actually a shared area because the way that this condo works, the units are stacked, so I have people above me and people even above them. So, no, that backyard is not mine. It's supposed to be considered like a shared community area. I wouldn't be able to just go toss my shit in the backyard. And really, not a lot of people use it, simply because that's the thing. They don't want to offend anyone else. If there's people out there having a party, and I'm in here trying to sleep, that could be a problem. So it's really just a shared common green area that you can look at, but you really can't do much out there. They don't let anyone do cookouts or anything out there. Ratchet85 asks, hey Phil, will you try the Soda Stream Machine or 3DS Capture Card for DSP Tries It? What a loaded question. Soda Stream Machine, I know what he's talking about. I've seen this in stores. There's this machine now that they're selling in retail stores where you take the soda mix and you just mix it with carbonated water and you make your own soda. Is it an interesting premise? Yes. Would people probably like to see it in a DSP Tries It? Yes. But I'm not going to get it because I really don't drink soda that much. In fact, really the only soda that I drink is more of like an energy drink or something. So since I don't drink soda a lot, there's no reason for me to try that machine, especially because, you know, like my DSP Tries It videos have been getting, what, 10, 12,000 views? So that's not enough to even pay for the cost of the machine, so I'm not going to do it. The 3DS capture card I actually did look into. There is a thing that you can attach your 3DS to that will actually get video out of it, and you can do direct capture gameplay. The problem is, it doesn't do audio, okay? And apparently the 3DS does like analog audio out, so you would need to do like major conversion of the audio and everything. You wouldn't be able to like do a proper live stream of it without a lot of work. So it's not as easy as other gaming consoles. So for now, at least for the near future, that's out until someone designs a better solution for it. Drake3691 asks, am I going to be reviewing Tomb Raider or Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance? Tomb Raider, no, because I did not play the multiplayer of the game, and it wouldn't be fair for me to review the game if I didn't play the multiplayer. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, no, simply because it's been like a month since I played it. Everyone's already gotten reviews of it. There's no reason for me to take time out now to do a review this late in the game. At the time, I was busy, very busy with stuff, and I wasn't able to, you know, do a review. And right now, unfortunately, it's too late. I don't think there's a reason for me to review the game. If you want to see my opinion on the game, watch the playthrough, and obviously the last part, I usually give thoughts in the credits anyway. GTR FRK 8787 says, now that you're trying things like streaming and direct capture, are you seeing your viewership improve? Actually, no, it's about the same. It's about the same as it was last month. I haven't seen any giant jump or anything like that. But you have to understand that I'm actually live streaming on Twitch TV while still uploading videos to YouTube. So the fact that the YouTube viewership is about the same, even though there are people who are taking time out to watch the live streams, that's a good sign. Plus, I'm getting my name out there in the live streaming community. I haven't even been doing it for a month, and I've got over 4,600 people who have favorited my page on Twitch, and I get regularly on my streams anywhere from 500 to maybe 800 people per stream who watch my gameplay. Of course, it varies greatly depending on time of day and what game I'm playing, but for the most part, people are enjoying my streams. So I'm enjoying the fact that I'm diversifying myself. That was the goal here. In the long run, do I think that this is going to be a positive thing? Yes. In fact, since I started this year, I believe it was since January when I instituted my changes, I have not had a day where I have lost subscribers overall. Every single day has seen positive subscriber growth. And this is a major change, my videos are seeing far less thumbs down and a lot more thumbs up, and I'm getting a lot of positivity in the comments and such, and that's a great thing. That means that when people watch my videos, oh look, it's Phil's video, and look, a lot of thumbs up, oh, it must be a good video, and there's a higher percentage of chance that a stranger who doesn't know who I am will watch my videos. And of course, positive subscribers helps me because it'll help me get seen on YouTube. My channel will have more visibility on YouTube the more subscribers that you have. So it's a good thing. Hopefully, I'm hoping that eventually, in the long run, it will turn out in more positivity when it comes to views and such. What I found is that it's highly dependent on the game. For example, this week with Bioshock Infinite, 2 weeks ago with God of War Ascension, views were great, and then when you get these kind of games that are lackluster, like Gears of War Judgment, or me doing filler like the Sleeping Dogs DLC, views would go way down. So it kind of fluctuates depending on what I'm doing, but right now, no massive growth, but I'm hoping that in the long run it's going to be a positive thing. When are you going to start doing Lego City Undercover? That's from Manazak. Tomorrow. Tomorrow is the beginning of Lego City Undercover because yesterday I finally beat StarCraft 2. That's the bottom line. From Stian, he says, how do you feel about the reveal of Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain? To which I say, it looks like it's going to be a great movie. That's really all I have to say about it, because Metal Gear Solid 4 was a fun experience, but you really have to struggle to call it a game. And I'll be honest, there's very little gameplay in the game. It's like, wow, play gameplay for 20 minutes and then sit through 40 minutes of cutscenes. After watching the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5, I'll be honest with everyone, it looks like it's one long cutscene, and I actually got so bored by the end of the trailer that I didn't even watch the whole thing. At like 4 minutes I said enough, and I closed it. So I think the game will be entertaining, I think the story will be great, the graphics will be great. As a game, I don't know how much it's going to stand up, but I do think that it will still be an entertaining experience. Let's put it that way. And then last question, from NinjaLink9. He says, do you see yourself live streaming all major releases of 2013? And the bottom line is this. Here's my plans for streaming, and this will be a good way to end the video. My live streaming is something that I can do, and it's no additional work. It really isn't. So when I'm direct capturing, I'm using the same program that I'm using to live stream, and it's literally just turning on and off the stream. So really, there's no reason for me not to live stream. But that being said, I realize that live streaming all the time is a major change for everyone. There's some people who are just being overly negative. Just stop live streaming. Don't live stream everything. I don't know why. Why would I stop? It's not taking away from my YouTube viewership. It's building a new viewer base for me. Damn it, I was this close to getting the answer to that question before the video ended. But now, let's finish the answer. So, live streaming is no additional work, and it's a positive thing. So why would I not do it for all my gameplay this year? You know what I mean? That would be silly for me to pick and choose certain games I'm going to live stream. And literally no one has been able to give me a valid argument as to why I shouldn't live stream all my gameplay this year. Everyone's just don't do it. But there's no valid reason. Like, people say, well, it takes away from your viewership. But it hasn't. Like I just said, for the month of February and now the month of March, my views are about the same. So it's not, I didn't take anything away. If anything, it added quality to my videos for direct capture. So why would I not live stream at the same time? It doesn't make sense. That would be a boneheaded move, okay? But that being said, if there is a reason that I think it will negatively affect something, I will not live stream. And the perfect example of this is earlier this week I did a channel update and I tried to live stream it. Now I did live stream it, but since I was live streaming I couldn't use my camera that I use right now for my vlogs. I actually used my webcam, and I found that the quality of the webcam was far inferior to the quality of this camera. The video was blurry, was not as focused, the colors were all off. And the audio as well. The audio of that camera wasn't great, and so it was harder to hear me, and it sounded like I was in a tin can, basically. So I was very displeased with the quality of how that turned out. So what I've decided is that for the immediate future, I'm still going to be using my camera for all of my vlog-style videos, okay? Now this could change if I find a way to use a different webcam that's better than the one I have, and the quality is close to this. But from what I've seen, looking out there, I think the number one problem with webcams is that they don't have optical zoom. So what I mean by that is right now my camera is actually zoomed into me and it's the lens physically moving, okay? When you do that, you don't lose video quality. The problem with the webcam is they all have this digital zoom, which all it does is it takes the existing image, so let's say this was it takes the existing image and it blows it up. So it's the same quality image, only it's pixelated because you blew it up. So it doesn't look as good as optical zoom. You know, optical zoom is like I'm moving the paper closer to the camera versus just you looking at the same thing and then it's pixelated, okay? So I haven't really found a webcam that has optical zoom. Now a lot of people have said, well, why don't you use a camcorder? That's actually a good suggestion, but do I really want to run out buying 100 camcorders to try to test out if I can do live streaming with a camcorder or not? So let me put it this way. Live streaming of vlogs may happen in the future if I can find a way to do it the same quality that I'm doing it now with this camera. However, right now that doesn't seem feasible, especially because I bought all this equipment. I really don't want to run out and start buying camcorders now in addition to this stuff. So, could it happen in the near future? Yes, it could, but I'm not guaranteeing anything, I'm not promising anything, and I'm really not even actively looking for it right now. Now, if there's anybody out there who knows how to live stream well, you know, vlogs and stuff like this with a camcorder or a different kind of webcam that has optical zoom, then I'm all for it, and please let me know in the comments of this video or send me a PM or whatever. But from my knowledge, you can't do it. I see all these people who do their face cams or whatever, and it's all just a webcam quality, and it doesn't look good. It honestly doesn't. It doesn't look that good. So, you know, it is what it is. A face cam is great if you're going to put it shrunken in the corner of your video, but when you're going to have a full screen vlog like this, it doesn't hold up, okay? So, right now, live streaming of gaming, yes, I'm probably going to live stream all of my gaming that I do this year. You're even going to have live streams of stuff off camera that I don't record. For example, I did a couple fighting game streams already. I attempted to do Dead Space 3, the DLC on a harder difficulty run, and then my Xbox died. That doesn't mean that I might not go back and still do it one night if I'm bored. So live streaming is cool. It's a new way for people to interact with me. People are loving the interactivity. So the answer is yes, probably most of my gameplay will be live streamed. No, vlogs will not be live streamed in the immediate future. And there we go. Alright, so that's it for this month's edition of Ask the King. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it wasn't as many questions as usual, but like I said, my voice right now even is hurting me because I'm talking so much. So, I'm actually glad I'm going to get an opportunity now to rest my voice for a little bit while I actually encode this video and I take a break before I play more BioShock Infinite tonight. So, thanks a lot everyone for watching the video. Remember, sgconvention.com. Head over there, check it out. It's going to be a fun-filled event. We're all going. I really would love to meet fans out there, so please if you can attend, make an effort to. Alright? Thanks a lot, everyone, for watching Ask the King. I'll see you later. Peace.